In this video, we'll explore the fascinating world of djinns, often referred to as djinns or genies in folklore, and compare them with their portrayal in The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. Djinns are powerful and mysterious beings deeply embedded in Middle Eastern mythology. These supernatural creatures have evolved over time, shaping both popular culture and modern fantasy. In folklore, djinns are seen as both benevolent and malevolent beings, capable of granting desires or wreaking havoc. Traditionally, they are made of smokeless fire and exist invisibly alongside humans, exercising free will and influencing events, either for good or evil. In Western culture, they are often simplified into genies, portrayed as wish-granting entities bound to lamps, a concept popularized by stories like Aladdin. In contrast, The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt presents djinns as immensely powerful elemental beings tied to the element of air. Its depictions in the play draw on popular culture rather than these traditional roots, adding a darker, more volatile twist. The jinn in The Witcher are fearsome creatures with control over weather and storms, often hostile and extremely difficult to control. They play a crucial role in Geralt of Rivia's journey, especially in the adventure and in The Last Wish, both in the book and the game, which deals with the complexities of magic, fate, and relationships. Throughout this video, we'll compare the folklore of djinns and their cultural interpretations with how the Witcher series, especially The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, adapts and reinterprets these ancient legends. Djinns, or djinns, are ancient and preternatural beings deeply rooted in Arabian mythology. According to Islamic tradition, they are spiritual entities created by Allah from smokeless fire, existing alongside humans but remaining unseen. Djinns possess free will, much like humans, allowing them to choose between good and evil. This duality of nature being capable of both kindness and malevolence makes them complex figures in both folklore and religion. In pre-Islamic Arabia, djinns were believed to inhabit deserts, ruins, trees, and even household objects. Their roles ranged from inspiring poets and soothsayers to punishing humans for perceived offenses. While they are often portrayed as capricious tricksters in folklore, capable of causing accidents or illness, they can also be manipulated by humans through the correct magical procedures. This makes them powerful yet unpredictable figures within mythological narratives. In many tales, djinns have the ability to shapeshift, taking the form of animals or humans. While they can be killed, their lack of physical limitations sets them apart from mortal beings. Their influence extends from religious texts like the Quran to popular stories such as 1001 Nights, where they frequently serve as central figures. Despite this rich cultural background, in the West, djinns have been simply interpreted as djinns or genies. Over time, djinns have been reimagined, particularly in popular culture, as wish-granting spirits often bound to objects like lamps or jars, a portrayal that is much less complex than their original mythological depictions. In summary, djinns in folklore are multifaceted beings with vast powers, capable of both helping and harming humans. Their free will, supernatural abilities, and complex moral alignment have made them central figures in the mythologies of the Middle East and beyond. Djinns, over time, have been widely simplified in Western culture into the image of the genie. This version of the jinn, popularized by stories such as Aladdin and its many adaptations, presents genies as wish-granting beings, often bound to a lamp or bottle. These creatures, while powerful, are typically depicted as friendly and even humorous, with their abilities geared primarily toward fulfilling the desires of whoever releases them. This portrayal has deeply penetrated Western media, with Disney's Aladdin being a primary example. The character of the genie in this film, particularly through Robin Williams' portrayal, has come to represent the archetypal version of the genie in the minds of many. The genie is often large, comedic, and relatively harmless, following a long tradition of romanticizing and domesticating the jinn. This westernization has, however, stripped away much of the complexity found in traditional jinn folklore, particularly their darker and more unpredictable sides. In contrast, the original concept of djinns, as seen in Arabic folklore, represents them as beings of both good and evil, capable of far more than simply granting wishes. They are known to have their own societies, personalities, and agendas, making them far more complex than the friendly, subservient genies of Western fiction. Transforming djinns into genies reflects a broader trend in Western adaptations, where complex mythological creatures are often simplified for ease of storytelling. As a result, many modern audiences are familiar only with the lamp-bound, wish-granting genie, unaware of the djinn's deeper roots in Middle Eastern mythology as unpredictable and often dangerous beings. This stereotype centuries, reducing the jinn to mere plot devices for magical wish fulfillment, largely ignoring their fearsome elemental nature in traditional lore. In The Witcher 3: Wild Hunt, djinns are powerful elemental beings with immense control over air and storms. Unlike the relatively neutral or mischievous spirits of folklore, djinns in the Witcher universe are portrayed as dangerous, highly intelligent, and almost entirely malevolent creatures. The only place where a djinn appears in the game is during the quest, The Last Wish, which takes place in the Skellige Isles. In this quest, Yennefer, a powerful sorceress and Geralt's longtime lover, enlists his help to find a djinn. Her goal is not to use its wish-granting abilities for power, but to break a magical bond that ties her and Geralt's fates together, a bond forged by a previous encounter with a djinn many years prior. Djinns in The Witcher 3 are not only difficult to summon, but also even harder to control. Yennefer and Geralt must retrieve the remnants of a shipwrecked vessel that once held the djinn, leading them on a dangerous exploration of the sea and high mountains of Skellige. The djinn is eventually summoned, but it lashes out violently, displaying its power through elemental magic such as creating storms and launching energy attacks. Geralt, as a witcher, must battle the djinn, using specific tactics such as the Erden sign to temporarily trap it and elemental oils to damage it defeated. Yennefer uses her magic to bind it, forcing the creature to undo the wish that had previously linked their destinies. This moment reveals a deeper emotional layer of the story, as Yennefer seeks to determine if her feelings for Geralt are genuine or merely a consequence of magic. Depending on the player's choices, Geralt can either affirm their love or decide to part ways, making this quest a significant turning point in the relationship between these two iconic characters. Djinn's portrayal is rooted in the series' lore, which presents them as immensely powerful beings who resist servitude and twist wishes in harmful ways. This aligns with the more dangerous and chaotic interpretation of djinns, distancing them from the more benign wish-granting genies of popular culture. Djinns, both in folklore and The Witcher 3: Wild Hunt, are known for their immense magical abilities, but their powers manifest differently in these two settings. In folklore, djinns are supernatural beings created from smokeless fire, unlike the Witcher, capable of manipulating natural elements, particularly wind and storms like in the Witcher universe. But they are known for their shape-shifting abilities, possession of humans, and the granting of wishes. Yes, one of the specialties, but not only, although these wishes often come with unintended consequences. Djinns can manipulate reality, bending the laws of nature to fulfill requests, but they are notorious for their trickster-like behavior. They may grant wishes in ways that seem beneficial on the surface, but ultimately cause harm, reflecting their complex and morally ambiguous nature. In The Witcher 3, djinns are portrayed as beings tied to the element of air, possessing control over atmospheric forces like wind, lightning, and storms, like in folklore. They can summon destructive weather patterns, making them formidable opponents in battle. In the game, their powers are amplified by their hostility and resistance to control. Djinns can cast spells instantaneously, often faster than even the most skilled mages, and their magical abilities make them nearly invulnerable to conventional attacks. One of their most iconic abilities in the Witcher universe is wish-granting, but much like in folklore, these wishes are often twisted. The djinns in The Witcher 3 exemplify the danger of wish-making, with their interpretations leading to unforeseen and usually dangerous outcomes. Players encounter a djinn during the Last Wish quest, where Yennefer attempts to control it to break a magical bond between her and Geralt. The djinn in this quest exhibits its full range of powers, summoning storms and launching air-based attacks, making it one of the toughest battles in the game. In summary, djinns in folklore and The Witcher 3 share similar traits, particularly their manipulation of air and their unpredictable, often dangerous nature. Furthermore, in The Witcher and folklore, their elemental power and wish-granting abilities are presented in a darker and more chaotic light, aligning with the series' tone of moral ambiguity and the dangerous consequences of magic. In both folklore and The Witcher 3: Wild Hunt, djinns exhibit complex moral alignment and volatile temperaments. In folklore, djinns are known for their duality, existing as beings capable of both good and evil. Islamic tradition portrays djinns as creatures of smokeless fire, with free will like humans, able to choose between benevolence and malevolence. They can act as tricksters, helping or punishing humans as they see fit, often based on how they are treated or summoned. In The Witcher 3: Wild Hunt, djinns retain this capricious nature but are portrayed with a more dangerous and hostile edge. They are highly intelligent and exceedingly difficult to control, often resisting any attempts to bind them. In the game, djinns are malevolent creatures tied to the element of air, able to wield powerful magic, control the weather, and wreak havoc when freed. Djinns in The Witcher. Djinns in The Witcher. A key moment highlighting this unpredictable nature in The Witcher 3 comes during the quest, The Last Wish. In this quest, Geralt and Yennefer confront a djinn that violently opposes their attempts to bind it. The djinn's temperament here aligns with its folkloric roots: dangerous, capable of both tremendous power and chaotic fury, and prone to twisting wishes into dangerous outcomes. In both the game and folklore, the djinn's moral alignment is flexible, reinforcing its status as a trickster-like figure that operates outside of strict good versus evil boundaries. In summary, the djinn's moral ambiguity in both folklore and The Witcher 3 highlights their unpredictable nature, which can lead to both beneficial and disastrous consequences for those who interact with them. This unpredictability is a core trait of djinns in both myth and the game universe. In both folklore and The Witcher 3: Wild Hunt, djinns exhibit complex and often perilous relationships with humans. In traditional Middle Eastern folklore, djinns exist in a parallel world to humans, and their interactions are as varied as the beings themselves. While some djinns are known to form bonds with humans, these relationships are often fraught with danger. Djinns can be helpful or harmful, acting as protectors or malicious tricksters depending on their moral alignment. Human sorcerers in folklore often seek to control djinns, attempting to use their power to grant wishes, but this relationship is rarely straightforward. The wishes granted by djinns are notorious for backfiring, leading to unintended consequences that reflect the djinn's unpredictable nature. In The Witcher, the relationship between humans and djinns is less volatile. Djinns are powerful elemental beings that resist servitude. Sorcerers and mages in the Witcher universe, like Yennefer, are drawn to djinns because of their immense magical power, but controlling them is dangerous. Djinns in The Witcher can be trapped using magical seals and artifacts. Once bound, a djinn must grant 3 wishes, but these wishes often carry unforeseen consequences. In folklore, djinns, as a reminder of the delicate balance between human desire and the unpredictable power of the supernatural. Their interactions with humans are characterized by manipulation and unintended consequences, making them both feared and sought after in myth and magic. Djinns in folklore carry rich symbolic meaning and thematic depth. In traditional Middle Eastern mythology, djinns are seen as beings of immense power, embodying natural forces and serving as metaphors for the unpredictability of life. They symbolize the chaos and mystery of the unknown, often depicted as tricksters who can either aid or destroy humans depending on their own whims. This duality reflects a broader theme of moral ambiguity, where djinns can embody both good and evil. In The Witcher, djinns take on a more nuanced role, tied heavily to themes of love, magic, and fate. The quest, The Last Wish, serves as a powerful narrative device, using the djinn's ability to grant wishes as a means to explore the nature of Geralt and Yennefer's relationship. The central question in this quest is whether their love is genuine or the result of a magical wish made by Geralt in the past. Another import associated with djinns in the game and folklore is the concept of "be careful what you wish for." The unpredictable and dangerous nature of djinns serves as a reminder that wishes, when granted, rarely turn out as expected. This mirrors their depiction in folklore, where djinns are known to twist the words of those who summon them, leading to outcomes that are often harmful or ironic. Ultimately, the djinns are not just as powerful beings, but as catalysts for exploring larger questions about choice, fate, and the consequences of one's desires. In both traditional folklore and The Witcher 3: Wild Hunt, djinns are powerful beings capable of granting wishes, but the way these wishes are fulfilled varies greatly. In Middle Eastern folklore, djinns are known for their capricious nature. They can grant wishes, but often twist the meaning of the wish in unexpected ways, leading to unforeseen consequences. Djinns are not bound to serve humans and can act according to their own free will, whether good, evil, or neutral. As a result, the wishes granted by djinns often come with a moral lesson, teaching the wisher to be careful with their desires. This reflects the djinn's dual nature as a being capable of both helping and harming humans. In The Witcher 3, djinns retain this trickster-like characteristic, but their power is depicted as even more volatile and dangerous. In the game, wishes granted by djinns often carry even greater risks due to the djinn's immense power over the element of air. The djinn encountered during the quest, The Last Wish, is a prime example of how dangerous their wishes can be. The djinn in the game has the power to grant such a wish, but at the cost of great danger to the summoner like the wizard who died. In both settings, the interpretation of the wish is crucial. Djinns often manipulate the wording of wishes to create outcomes that the wisher did not foresee. For instance, a seemingly simple wish could lead to disastrous results if the djinn chooses to interpret it literally or maliciously. In The Witcher 3, this is especially true, as the djinn's power is shown to be capable of causing storms and destruction when summoned, adding a layer of danger to wish granting. Overall, the comparison between folklore and The Witcher 3 highlights the similar themes of caution in dealing with djinns. Whether in myth or in the game, djinns grant wishes with a twist, reminding us that one must be careful what they wish for. In both folklore and The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, djinns are powerful, unpredictable beings capable of granting wishes, but often with unforeseen consequences. In traditional myths, djinns embody both good and evil, representing the chaotic forces of nature and the supernatural. Their ability to manipulate reality and twist the meaning of wishes highlights the complex relationship between humans and the supernatural. In The Witcher 3, djinns retain this capricious nature, but are presented with a more elemental and dangerous edge. Their portrayal emphasizes their role as beings of immense power, tied to the element of air, with a tendency to turn even well-intentioned wishes into disasters. The quest, The Last Wish, masterfully weaves together the themes of love, fate, and the consequences of meddling with magic, using the djinn as a narrative device to explore the fragile nature of Geralt and Yennefer's relationship. Ultimately, in folklore, djinns serve as a reminder that the pursuit of power, especially through wish-making, often comes at a high price. The unpredictability of djinns, whether granting wishes or simply existing, serves as a testament to the dangers of trying to control forces far beyond human understanding. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss out on future deep dives into mythology, storytelling, and gaming. Thanks for watching, and remember, be careful what you wish for.